welcome back to the channel, VAG Technic. So 3 weeks later, we didn't done absolutely anything on the RS4. Reason why? I was away. Reason number 2, the cylinder heads were away as well. So they're fully done, new guides, stem valve seals, intake valves were replaced, and also we were waiting for all these parts which are necessary to replace on the engine what we removed from this RS4. So in this video we will continue stripping the engine, because last time it was just emergency engine disassemble to actually find out what's wrong with it, what will need repairing, what will need replacing, what will need doing, and of course give the price to the owner of the vehicle to get approval to actually get it done. He was shocked like anyone else who has engine in this stage, and unfortunately the most expensive bits were the cylinder heads, because they are fully done, so they need quite loads of labor to get them done from the machine shop, so they're over 1,000 quid. Then of course we are replacing the timing chain, what actually failed. It's more tensioner what failed than the timing chain. Plus we still have to remove the gearbox and see what's the state of the clutch. The exhaust flexi pipe needs doing. We will go through it bit by bit. So we will start this episode with removing the gearbox, getting to the timing chain from the back. We have to clean up everything. Still dirty. We didn't done absolutely anything. I don't really like to go from a job to job and just do bits and bobs, because you will get out of shape, you're gonna keep forgetting stuff, and we would like to get it done all at once when everything is here ready to go on. So as I mentioned, we still have to remove the gearbox and check the clutch, so we can actually get to the back of the engine to replace the whole timing chain which is on there. Then we will make our way to the middle of the engine where are the 2 check valves, and all this will be removed and resealed, so there are no oil leaks in the future. Cylinder heads, the most expensive cylinder heads. So the whole problem is, like we have a problem with the B8.5, which is still here, and we're waiting for 1 cylinder head to be done. The guides for the intake valves are basically worn out, and that means how the valve is going up and down in a really high quick frequency. It's able to move like this, so by every movement how it's getting closed, it might sit in a different position.
New guide.
So the valve is slightly basically moving around, and it's weakening the material, so there is chance that if the guides are actually worn out, the valve might lose the top of it. It will just broke off, so it will drop a valve into the cylinder, which will cause quite loads of damage. So these 2 heads are fully done. The guides were replaced, the valves were replaced, they cleaned up, so Mr. Roy done a very nice job. So I think they are basically ready to go on. Plus we don't have to do a carbon cleaning, because the valves are replaced, of course. So it saved us a bit of a time, but it added a bit of money onto the bill. Moving to the rest of the things which are here finally. Again, like on the R8 V10, you can't get a gasket, a genuine gasket for bank 2, where's the oil cup. So you have to get the whole rocker cover. And because we don't want to have any oil leaks, we decide to put a new rocker cover. It wasn't that bad money wise, but it was definitely more expensive than if you're just gonna get a gasket, which for the other side you can get a gasket. Then of course we will continue exhaust gaskets, we need them, inlet gaskets, we need them. This is the PCV pipe which was tape broken, so that will be replaced. That pipe again wasn't the cheapest one. It was something around £180 or something like that. We have a whole PCV valve because the intake was full of oil, so I'm not sure if the separator was working correctly, and because the access is not the best, we will replace it. Then water pump, of course. This water pump is there from 2006, so I think that will be due to be replaced. Then of course we are moving to our favorite bit, timing chains and tensioners and everything. So we were able to get everything except for 1 chain, which is not available anymore. So that have to be replaced for a different make than genuine one, unfortunately. But it will be replaced. And then of course, something like head gasket. Quite important. Cylinder head bolts, rear crankshaft seal, new bolts for the camshaft adjusters, and all these gaskets which are necessary to replace them if you're doing a job like this. We still didn't receive flexi pipes for the exhaust because they're not good. Also we'll be replacing the studs which are on the exhaust manifold to the downpipe because they're rusty. And kill me, plenty of other stuff what we'll need doing, but while we will be working on it, I'll try to talk you through what we are doing on this beautiful RS4, which is not beautiful anymore, but one day, hopefully, when we will be finished, it will be a beautiful car again. So enough talking, let's get to work, get all the tools out and get it done. And here we are, finally. Gearbox was removed, so we removed the rear timing chain cover. There was some broken plastic from the top of the cylinder, have we seen in the previous video, so all that was discovered, found and removed. So I don't think we'll have to drop the oil sample. And as you can tell, it's very similar concept to the BBK engine, but it's a bit different on the end of the day.
Same, but different. But still same.
At the moment, we will start stripping down the chains as usual. We will replace everything, clean up everything. And I want to build up this section first, then we will leave these two chains just sticking out. And we will put the cylinder heads on top so we will not damage the head gasket. And it's sitting properly everywhere as it should be without any silicone. So let's continue. So the chains are removed, and unfortunately I can't continue cleaning it because the battery is dead. Meanwhile, I was looking on the surface of the block, and I'm not sure if you can tell from the camera, but you can see some scratches from a sandpaper. You can probably see it on this side a bit better, yeah, especially here in the corner. So I've got a feeling that this cylinder heads were already removed and somebody was doing something on them. No history, no evidence, but this is not from a factory like this. So I have to wait for the battery to be charged. We will continue with cleaning the surface where the timing chain cover goes and also getting ready the surface of the block where the head gasket should sit.
Take that.
And the camshafts are finally in place. I still have to put them in the timing position. I have to put the timing tools on there, on the cams. And next step will be, once it's going to be in the timing position, we have to put the oil tensioner to each cylinder head. We will put back on the camshaft adjusters. We will tighten everything. We want to close up everything as soon as possible, so no screwdriver will fall in and other components what might fall in. And then we will move on to the valley pan, which is somewhere here. These bolts, again, stripping down. We will replace the oil valves which are in there with the gasket. And then we will continue with the injectors, of course, and the intake manifold and build up everything. So, plenty to do. Let's finish it off.
falling free. Try my best not to forget what happened to us, what happened to me, what happened as I let it slip. I was confused by the powers that be, forgetting names and faces. Passers-by were looking at me as if they could erase it. Baby, did you forget to take your meds?
So the valley pan is done. We replaced the 2 oil valves, what you've seen. So that's all done. We can move on to the table here. So because it's a V8, we have 8 injectors obviously, which means we need 8 repair kits for the injectors. So in the repair kit, we've got these washers and brackets, O-ring with plastic washer, and this thermosil which goes on the bottom of the injector. So we will clean them all up and we will fit them with new bits. 8 injectors are done. And before we will put them into the cylinder heads, we still have to put the oil filter housing back in place. Then we can put the injectors with the rails and we will continue with the intake manifold. So let's continue. So we fitted the intake manifold along with the high pressure fuel pumps and some other small bits. Probably we can still put on the flywheel and some small stuff. Can't really put the pipe for the coolant, which is going to the cylinder heads towards here, because we won't be able to put on the exhaust manifolds. We are basically replacing the flexi pipes, which were completely gone, and we also have to replace the studs because they're rusty. So that have to come on first, then we can put the gearbox with the loom and then into the car.
Come on.
So the water pump is removed from the engine, as you can probably tell. Good old times. Well, I think that will matter of time until it start leaking. So the pump was installed there since the vehicle came out of the factory, so it's 2006. The new pump is manufactured 2021, so you can tell the difference. There's no difference. Also, these gaskets, which are on the engine block, will be replaced. Also this O-ring, which we have all the gaskets here ready to go on. And yeah, we have to put the water pump in the same position, the new one, like the old one, so the Allen key will come on nicely. And I think after we'll clean it up, it's ready to be fitted.
Come on. Yeah. Come on.
This is the progress with the RS4 engine. So the loom is on, we put new spark plugs in there, and Miroslav finished the exhaust. So the flexi pipes are welded on. We also replaced the studs and the nuts for this bit. I think it looks much better, and I think for another 10 years it will be sorted. Next logical step will be put it back into the car. Okay guys, so as you can tell, the RS4 has left the run. Already there's an RS6 and the engine is not in there. Very interesting video coming up. But RS4 off the run, everything is ready. However, there's no MOT, and before we will go on the road, you have to go on the MOT. So MOT is like once upon a time, once in a year, like technical control in the UK. You have to pass the emissions and check the car if it's road legal. So, well, when we put it down, the rear of the vehicle was sitting quite low. So we lifted on the run again and we had a closer look, and the coil spring was broken. So I contacted the owner. Of course, he wasn't really happy about it, because it's extra money what needs to go in there, and unfortunately to remove them you have to drop the subframe down a bit, so labor wise it's not the best as well. However, we will sort out the coil springs so we can go for an MOT. I don't think there's nothing else what should have failed on. Also, there was an engine light on straight away. After we plug it on the diagnostic, we find out I've done a dodgy job, and unfortunately one of the connectors for the vacuum solenoid which is in the airbox wasn't connected. So that was plugged in, fault codes were raised and everything is cool. And in the next video we will probably go for a test drive. I still have to ask the owner for a permission, because I want to do like at least 100 miles after repair like this. We basically took off quite loads of things. We want to double check everything, there's no coolant leaks, oil leaks, everything is running as it should be running. Try a bit of a high RPM as well, running at proper temperatures, and then we'll put it back on the run. So the plan is MOT, and then we go for a drive if we will be allowed to. And also in the next video I will tell you how much all this cost. So it was basically loads of fun. You've seen the video, there's loads of things what was replaced, loads of gaskets, loads of parts. Was it worth it? I'll tell you in the next video. For now, thank you for watching and take care. See you next time.